The lesson I'm showing you today is a 4th grade lesson, and it is for complementary colors. And the lesson talks about complementary colors and how they help create contrast and emphasis in a piece of art. So, emphasis is what draws the eye to a particular part of a piece of artwork. So this is what we're going to make. It is in the style of Keith Haring. So they're going to make some figures and then use complementary colors to make their figures pop on the paper. So I will show you how to do that. So the first thing that you're going to start with is a piece of black. I took a piece of 12 by 18 inch paper and then I just cut it in half. And you can probably do that on your paper cutter at the school. In fact, this one I actually folded and tore in half because that's just what I was able to do here. And then, so each student will start with this, and then they're going to need a pencil and pastels. And that's pretty much all they're going to need for this one. So to start, you want them to make 4 separate rectangles in this paper. So I would just instruct them to fold it in half, unfold it, and then to fold those sides to the center line. And they don't need to be creased really hard. It's just helping them mark where the different colors and figures are going to fit. So you'll start like that. And then they're going to use a pencil, and they're going to use a pencil to draw a different figure in each square. So I would leave up a slide or a picture on the front that gives them some ideas of the Keith Haring figures and kind of how they work. They don't have to draw them identical to any of Keith Haring's figures, but they kind of get the idea of these kind of chunky figures without a lot of detail. They're pretty simple, and there's people, you can do a dog, there's a baby, so you can kind of show them some examples if you want of the figures, and they'll get the idea. And they're just going to draw one figure in each square. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my figures in each square. So now I've drawn my figures with pencil, and the next step they're going to do is they're just going to start coloring. So I purposely had them do 4 squares simply because that makes them think a little bit about their complementary colors, because it's going to be pretty easy for them to think of your primary colors with their complementary colors. So red, green, blue, orange, purple, yellow. And then they've got to be a little bit more creative with the last one. They've got to look at that color wheel and find a complementary color that's maybe not so obvious. And that's the great thing about the oil pastels, is they're able to kind of mix colors in order to get the color that they want. So if they wanted to do a yellow green with its complementary color of red violet, they could use the pastels to kind of mix them together. So, and I'll walk you through that one first. So if I wanted to do a, let's say a blue violet with an orange yellow, so how they can use, there might be a pastel this is an orange yellow right here. So I'm gonna do one of my figures here in an orange yellow. And they're just gonna go over the figure. I like to trace the outside of it and then fill it in. So they can use the orange yellow, and if they can also use the pastel to mix in some colors. So if they feel like they want it to be a little bit more yellow, then the oil pastels mix really well just by coloring one on top of each other and blending them in together. And I especially love the look of the oil pastels on the black paper. It also gives it just some more contrast for the colors. They pop off the page more. So I've done my orange, and I'm going to mix in a little bit more yellow. I want it to be a little bit more on the yellow-orange side. So the complementary color to the orange yellow is a blue violet. So I'm gonna take this blue, and now I'm gonna go and fill in the background behind this figure. And I like to do the same where I draw around the outside just to make it easier to get a nice crisp line around the figure. And I'm just gonna color mostly blue. But since I want it to be a blue violet, I'm gonna come back through with the violet and kind of mix it in. And that'll help get it to be the right color. So it looks like the right complementary color. So now I feel like I've got a good complementary color. I've got a good orange yellow with the blue violet. And so now I'm gonna trace over my figure with the black to give it that nice black outline. And that really helps it to pop and gives it just a little bit more emphasis coming off the page. So there's my first figure. So then they can continue on with the complementary colors, and they can, like I said, they can use the primary colors with their complementary color. That's the most direct way to do it because they'll have those colors, or they can continue to mix. They can continue looking at the color wheel and mixing colors to get the good complementary colors. So I'm just going to keep working on those. Okay, so now I've finished using complementary colors to color the figures, and you definitely want to, when you're done, to give these all a spray with hairspray or some sort of fixative, so because they are they are super messy. So give it a good spray so that the colors stay nice and vibrant. If you don't spray it and then you stack the kids' art together, the colors will start to kind of smudge, and then you'll lose that nice, the contrast that you're getting from the complementary colors.